Welcome back to Geocaching World. We're talking about tea and crumpets and taking them for lunch and then going geocaching, aren't we, Andy?
Everybody's hungry, but I'm sorry. I apologize now, but I'll tell you what. The whole idea with geocaching is to get that little bit of exercise so that you can go eat and burn those calories.
That's right. That's right. You know, I like to carry a nice wrap with me. You know, one of them. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I can't stand those things. Anyway, what we're going to talk about, we have another geocaching at lunchtime to take a look at. So let's take a look at it here on video.
Okay. We're heading for our next lunchtime geocache, and this one's going to be interesting. Most geocaches that you do during lunchtime, you want them to be park and grabs. Quick, little, fast grabs so that you can move on and get some lunch. That's what this one is, but it presents an interesting problem. Let's see what that is. Okay, here's the problem. We're in an area that happens to deal with a fast food chain. And what you're seeing here is the issue I was talking about. Lots and lots of muggles. How do you find the geocache in a case like this and not get caught? Now, in a case like this, I'm sitting in the car, I'm looking around, I'm noticing that there's actually one car in the parking lot across from me where there's a muggle sitting in the car looking at me right now, probably wondering what I'm doing. You just have to figure, is it worth it going for the geocache? Is it going to put the geocache in danger if somebody sees me pick it up? Do I leave or do I just bite the bullet and try? I say bite the bullet. Okay, the car just to the right was where the muggle was sitting there watching me. That person went into the restaurant of choice. I say, now's the time. Let's go get that geocache. Now what I did was I took a look at my GPS on my smartphone right here, and I'm literally within a couple of feet, and I've got a pretty good idea of what type of park and grab this is. They're known as skirt hides. Let's see what we can find. Okay, now the interesting thing about this is there's no skirt. Normally there's a skirt right here that goes up the flagpole like that, but there's no skirt here. But what there is, if you could see it, there's your geocache. Let's take it over here away from the area, sign the log, and we'll discuss this further. Okay, what you have here is your standard magnetic key holder. The log is in the plastic bag right here. These usually aren't the most waterproof, but people use them. What we're going to do now is sign the log that's in here, put this back, and put it back into its hidey hole. But there's another example of a lunchtime geocache. You're in a very popular area, so you have to be constantly aware of the muggles. But you're also in an area that you can find a geocache within minutes and still have time to go have lunch. Speaking of which, I'm going to go have some now.
That looked like one heck of a lot of fun. Plus, you have to deal with the muggles. We had some great comments here from the chat room. One of them brought up, and I think you have mentioned this as a technique, wearing like a reflective vest and carrying a clipboard. And the people ask who you are. They say that they tell people that they are inspecting the tree for bugs.
There you go. Yeah, there are all sorts of different ways that people want to use creative ways. But yes, that is definitely one of the things that you want to do. If you want to like stick out without sticking out,
right,
wearing one of those reflective vests or a hard hat and wearing that, using that clipboard, it's great. I also wanted to mention, by the way, for the viewers out there, driving while videoing, do not do at home. And I am an expert.
Oh, okay. What do you got? A little gorilla tripod attached to the steering
Yeah,
wheel?
head to the top of the next seat.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Well, that works, but you better be well practiced at that. But
I'll tell you what, the police, I think, frown a little bit at you a little
oh,
more when you're saying, well, I was just videoing.
yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I was just taking video. Right. Yeah, they wonder what you're up to. The other one that came up here was that one of the other folks in the chat room, Perm74, commented, at times I may grab the cache and take it with me and return an hour or so later, so that that is better than getting it muggled.
Yeah, and that's actually not a bad idea.
Okay.
A lot of times, in that particular case, for example, I just moved about 50 or 60 feet out of the way, so I'm not as conspicuous. There are situations where there are that many muggles around that you're going to best preserve it so that it doesn't get muggled after you leave,
Right.
is to just come back later when there's not so many people there and put it back. Most geocaches, unless it's in an extremely busy area, if they get hit once or twice a day, that's all they're going to see anyway. So you're not going to interfere with anybody else.
Right, right. Well, you used an interesting phrase there while you were talking on the video, and that had to do with not wanting to place the geocache, quote, in danger. And I think that one of the things that you have to think about in terms of muggles and in terms of these kinds of geocaches, where you're maybe a little bit more exposed because you're not going, at lunch you don't go deep woods geocaching, and that is that you're not only you're making sure that people don't find it, but you're protecting the person who placed the geocache as well, so that they don't have to do extra work to fix something that a muggle might mess with if they happen to notice you finding it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The main concern, I mean, the geocache is just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is extremely important that you want to make sure that the geocache is preserved as well as possible. If something bad happens, okay, that's fine. The other part, though, is as far as making the geocacher feel as comfortable as possible when they're geocaching.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get that creepy factor of, I'm going to get caught here.
Okay.
You just you keep that in mind when you do the placement.
Okay. Well, we're going to come back with yet another lunchtime geocache, so don't go away. You can go make a sandwich if you want to, but come back and watch the next segment, which will be coming up just shortly. So stay with us on Geocaching World. Got a question or a comment about geocaching? Send it to geocache@rvnn.tv or leave us a voicemail at 877-578-RVNN, extension 714. Tell us about a cache you especially enjoyed finding, and we may feature it in an upcoming episode. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to rvnn.tv.